health today. And then we're also going to discuss weight loss again. We discussed it in the very first session. So we're going to kind of go back and go over some other information as well. All right, just move. All right, so May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. They celebrate it every year in May. And they really promote, raising awareness of those living with mental or behavioral issues, and they really want to help reduce the stigma around it. We're going to talk a little bit about what you can eat and how it directly affects the structure and function of your brain. I've never heard, if you guys ever heard of, your mood is really affected by, the foods that you eat. So more and more research is coming out about this. So it's really an interesting topic. So it's a great one to focus on for the month of May. What you're putting in your body, aka the food that we eat, they're finding should be mostly for high quality foods with lots of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help nourish and protect our brain. Okay, so nutrition and mental health. So like I said, we're just now, we're getting more and more research about this area, and we're just kind of on the cusp of starting to understand the connection between mood and food, I like to say, the brain and nutrition. And we're starting to see more and more treatments for mental health disorders to not only include medication and therapy, but also to include nutrition as well. So some current nutrients that are being studied that have shown some brain protecting benefits are going to be protein-rich foods, omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins, folate, zinc, iron, and iodine. So while individual treatments with specific doses are being studied with these nutrients, most medical professionals keep going back to just really trying to eat a diet high in whole foods that are obviously going to be rich in those vitamins, minerals, is going to be really the most beneficial for nutrition. More research is focusing on these nutrients rather than just taking out the supplements and testing them individually, because they're really starting to find that food in its whole form, these vitamins and minerals actually work better in the body and they're actually absorbed better. So it's really better to get the vitamins and minerals from the foods that we're eating rather than supplements. Of course, supplements are there and they are useful when needed. So it's not something we totally disregard, but really trying to get all you can from the food that we eat is going to be the best way. And they're also finding a really clear link between low nutrient, highly processed foods and diets and those mental health issues. So it's really important to do some early intervention. Again, really trying to do some more preventative work with this and really promoting healthy eating, starting from, with their children, and really starting as early as possible. It's really highly encouraged. So I just want to go through some of the foods from those different vitamins and minerals I mentioned earlier that's really brain protective. So protein was the first one, which we've talked a little bit about pretty much on every other class we've done here. So really focusing on those leaner meats. Eggs is a great one. It has something called choline in it that's really shown to be brain boosting, especially in children. Seafood, beans, nuts, seeds, and tofu, all really good sources of protein. Omega-3 fatty acids, so that's our really good fat source. We want to get a lot of foods, and that's going to be salmon is a really great source of that. It's that fattier fish. Walnuts is kind of the gold standard when it comes to nut because it's the highest in those omega-3 fatty acids. And also flax and chia seeds, really good sources as well. And you can kind of throw those in anything. You can throw them in smoothies. You can throw them in yogurt. Some people like throwing them in salads. So lots of things you can do with those seeds. B vitamins, so a lot of leafy greens. Again, there's eggs again, avocados, oranges, beef, really great source, chickpeas, and sweet potatoes. When it comes to folate, think leafy greens. Anything green is a really good source of folate, usually edamame, which is those soybean beans that are really tasty, lentils, and broccoli, really good sources of folate. For zinc, think meat. Zinc is really high in usually meats. So that's going to be meat, shellfish. There are some in chickpeas and beans and seeds, and nuts and dairy as well. Iron, again, there's two different kinds. You get the animal type iron and the plant-based iron, both really good. Get them from meat and shellfish, really high in shrimp and leafy greens for that plant-based source of iron. And then iodine. Seaweed is a great source of this. If you ever do like a seaweed salad or you see those seaweed chips in the grocery store, good source of iodine. Yogurt, potato with the skin on it. If you see salt, they have iodized salt. Again, eggs again. shrimp, another one, and iodine-enriched bread. Okay. All those are really great sources. We really want to try to get a lot of those in our diet, and they all kind of fall in line with, eating a whole food diet that we're trying to promote. So here's just some other information about mental health and what it pertains to weight loss. We're kind of going to go into weight loss with it as well. So more than 80% of people with serious mental illness are also overweight or obese. So there's definitely a connection there. They did a study in 2013 in the New England Journal of Medicine, which showed weight loss intervention can really help those with serious mental illness lose significant weight. And the interventions that they concluded and they used was, really switching over to those calorie-free drinks. So really trying to take out anything with calories that you're drinking. So reducing sodas and juices and really anything that can really add up fast what you're drinking. Really increasing those fruits and vegetables. They ate about 5 servings a day. They practiced appropriate portion control. So really learning what an appropriate portion looks like for you can really help with successful weight loss. And then also exercise. So they did about 30 minutes a day of that moderate intensity exercise, and that really helped with their weight loss as well. And then there was another study done in 2014, which showed weight loss interventions for overweight patients with type 2 diabetes were less likely to suffer from depression once they lost weight and made positive changes to their lifestyle. So, depression is very prevalent, and that can really help. Again, if you can lose some weight, it can really help. It's been shown to help with depression. So some other benefits they've shown with weight loss include improved self-esteem, a more stable mood, improved body image, and just general improvement in quality of life can all really help as well. So obviously when it comes to weight loss and mental health, we really want to do slow and steady. We don't want to do any rapid weight loss because sometimes that can be achieved by obviously some negative eating or exercise habits, which could obviously worsen the mental illness or just mental health in general. So just be careful and do what works for you. We're all very different, and you really want to find an individualized plan that's going to work well, not only for your physical health, but also for your mental health. It's just as important. We have a lot of pressure in this society to be a certain weight, to look a certain way. So just keep that in mind and just don't put too much stress on yourself about it. And it's been shown time and time again that slow changes over time is going to not only be the best for your mental health, but also in the long term for your physical health. It's a lot easier if you lose weight slower, make smaller changes over time for especially your mental health, and then also for your long-term weight loss as well, because you're actually learning how to change these habits and put these new lifestyle changes into your life that a way that works for you. So you really want to find a way of eating or find a way of moving that brings happiness into your life that you can really find joy in. And usually those fad diets or throwing out foods that you love is usually not the way to do that. You really got a good balance with all of that. So I want to go back to these. So we discussed these in the very first session, but these are kind of the proven strategies for successful weight loss, and I wanted to touch on them again. So again, this National Weight Control Registry did a really big study, and they found several different strategies to help us achieve that long-term successful weight loss. The first one they found is, again, maintaining a consistent eating pattern across weekdays and weekends, high levels of physical activity, so always really trying to move as much as we can, following a lower calorie diet, eating breakfast regularly, and also just keeping track of where your weight's at and how you're feeling. Okay, so that first one is maintaining that consistent eating pattern. So an eating pattern is an individual's typical dietary intake of food and beverages over a continuous period of time. So the research continues to show us that people who consume a healthy, balanced diet over a continuous time period are not only able to lose that weight, but they're also at a reduced risk of developing several chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and cholesterol. So, and again, this consistent healthy eating pattern should not just be on, Monday through Friday. You really want to try to get it 7 days a week, and even during special occasions, and just having the tools to know what to do to continue eating this way that you've really developed for yourself. So what should this look like? So a typical healthy eating pattern, you really want it to be a good balance of a protein rich food. So we kind of talked about that earlier. So lean meats, eggs, against beans, things like that. A lot of vegetables. So again, vegetables are going to be highest in like vitamins and minerals and lowest in calories. That can really help, including carbohydrates and also fats. So you really want all four of those components in your meal when you're eating your meals. When you eat like this, it really helps stabilize our blood sugar. It also provides proper vitamins and minerals to just keep us healthy in general, and then it helps keep us full as well, which is really important. And then also when it comes to drinking, again, sticking to those calorie-free drinks, just like the study said too, it can really help. You can drink a lot of calories. So if you can take that out, that's really going to help with weight loss as well. So I want to go through the four components of the meals. This pick was pretty funny. That's not what I suggest doing. It's eating a bowl of salad. That's not satisfying at all. But so for our protein rich foods, again, choosing some lean meats, lean beef. So they do make beef that's 90% fat, 93% fat. So choosing something like that compared to like the 80%, 73%, that can really make a difference. Eggs and egg whites. So egg whites is a great one to include with your eggs. It can really lower the fat content and the calorie content overall. And you really can't taste them if you mix the eggs with the egg white. It's a really great tool. Fish and shellfish, we have plenty of that in the Keys. So that's a great source of protein as well. Greek yogurt, another really great one. It's better than the traditional yogurt. It's usually higher in protein and lower in carbohydrates, so it's a lot more filling. Tempeh tofu is a soy-based food that's also high in protein. Cottage cheese is a great one. And also protein powders really can be beneficial as well to fill any protein gaps. Vegetables, really any veggie is great. Green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. If you're a vegetable person, load them up. They're really great. They can help keep us full. They have a lot of fiber in it that can help fill our stomach up. So we're feeling like we're eating a good amount of food. Really important, especially in just overall health and weight loss. Again, choosing some healthier carbohydrates. So I just mean more whole food based carbohydrates. So beans, peas, corn, potatoes of all variety, rice. Choosing the whole wheat varieties is also going to be good. So brown rice, whole wheat pasta. Yuca is one we have down here. It's a great one. All types of fruit, great. Whole wheat bread and wraps too. I really like wraps. They're usually a little bit lower in calories than the bread is too, and they're really tasty. You can do a lot with wraps. And then making sure you're getting your fats too. So fats help us keep full. They have a lot of good benefits. They help our fat soluble vitamins absorb. It's really important. Avocados, nuts, seeds, olives are great. Good oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and cheeses as well. Some other tips I have, especially when it comes to eating this way, is just try to keep it simple. Really try not to overthink it too much. Just, look at your plate and say, okay, where's my protein coming from today? Where are my veggies? Did I get my veggies today? What am I missing? Do I have some good carbohydrates in there? Carbohydrates are important. They make the meal taste good. We don't want to eliminate them. They can definitely be part of a healthy diet. And then our fats. Again, fats are important for nutrients absorbing properly, and they help keep us full. So that's kind of a plate. I like to use this as a reference, kind of what your plate should be looking like. It's a little bit easier with like lunch and dinners to do this. Breakfast is kind of all over the place sometimes, but it's a good visual to have in your head of, what it should be looking like portion wise as well. Here's just some meal ideas, some simple things that I like to do. I love doing bowls. So bowls are really cool. You just kind of pick your protein, you pick your veggies, you pick some carbohydrates, you pick some fat. You kind of just throw it all together, maybe over some salad. I love doing that over like some romaine or like a spinach mixture is really great. I like doing a Mexican bowl. So I literally just take 3 to 6 ounces of any kind of lean protein that I have. I throw it over some black beans, some corn, again, for my carb sources, and then avocado I use for my fat. Throw a lot of lettuce in there to make it look really full and beautiful. Tomatoes, and then I love salsa. So salsa is great. It's usually pretty low in calories, and it can really add a lot of flavor. Again, if you like it hot, a little bit of hot sauce is really good. Again, hot sauce is very minimal on the calories, so it's a great addition as well. And then something really simple, like a nice top sirloin steak. So that's going to be a leaner cut of meat when it comes to beef. So, depending on how much meat or protein you need, about 3 to 6 ounces. And then I love it with a baked sweet potato. For me, sweet potato and steak go really well together. I put a little bit of, butter on that. I do love butter, and there's nothing wrong with butter. Just again, everything in moderation. And then a good 1 to 2 cups of veggies. I love broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, just making sure you fill up on those veggies as well. And then I like to do this for an easy lunch, literally just a can of tuna at the grocery store, do a little bit of mayo, mustard. I love it's 0 calories. You can literally put on everything. I put on veggies too. Love it on veggies. A little bit of relish, and then mix it all up, and you have a really good tuna salad. You can put it over a nice bed of lettuce, have a couple whole grain crackers with it. Really good. Easy lunch. You can also use your hand for portioning out things. It's especially useful when you're at a restaurant, or just in general at home. So again, everyone's hand is kind of personalized to themselves, so it's really convenient and easy to use. So when it comes to protein, the size of your palm is a really good portion for the protein size that you need. When it comes to veggies, about a fist. And again, usually about 2 fists, especially with, if you need some more food, or you're feeling like you need, it's not that much, load up on the veggies a little bit more. So you can do 1 to 2 fists when it comes to veggies. And then when it comes to carbs, about a cup tan is a good portion, usually makes about a half a cup. And then for your thumb, about fats. So if you're doing like some nuts or some olive oil or butter or something, your thumb is a really good indicator with how much you need for that. So another thing I like to discuss when it comes to a healthy eating pattern is also when should I eat and how should I eat? So most people do really well eating about every 3 to 4 hours, about 4 times a day. Okay. This really has been shown, if you're eating the right amount of food, usually about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, you can wait until your next meal. And that usually equates to about 4 meals a day. So if you eat, say, at like 8 a.m., you eat again at like 11:30, 12, you eat another meal around 3, 4, and then you have your dinner around 6, 7, maybe 8. So that really has been shown to help a lot of people. Getting a good meal 4 times a day, it really helps eliminate snacking, because you're actually eating 4 really good meals a day. So I found that works pretty well. And then practicing how you eat as well. We really are, a lot of us eat really fast. I myself eat really fast, so I really have to slow down sometimes, because it can take 15 to 20 minutes for our satiety signals to kick in. So if we're eating, in under 5 minutes, we might not be feeling full yet. So that really can lead to going back and eating more. So we really want to try to slow down when it comes to eating and let ourselves feel the fullness coming on. So we know, and we can start listening to our bodies when we're full and when we're hungry. It can really help practice that intuitive eating. Eating without distractions can really help this. So a lot of times we're looking at our phone, we're watching TV, we're on the computer, we're working. We don't even realize we're eating, and we eat in 5 minutes. I'm like, did I even eat? I'm still hungry. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So really trying to eat without distractions if you can. It can really help focus on what you're doing, especially when it comes to eating. Taking water and fluid breaks can really help break up the meal as well. So having a good glass of water next to you, putting your fork down after a couple bites, taking a couple sips of water, that can really help slow down as well. So there's obviously going to be nutritional values that vary between different foods. So some are going to be more nutritious than others, but we really try not to label them as good or bad. Okay, it's better to look at these foods on a spectrum from an eat more to an eat less. This helps us avoid eliminating any foods, but it also helps us know what we should be eating most of the time, and things that we shouldn't be eating too often. But again, we don't want to have that off limit mindset, because that can really lead to restriction and anxiety. And it can ultimately lead to you saying, screw this. I don't want to eat like this anymore. I miss the old foods that I was eating before. So again, we really want to find a good balance, and especially for our mental health too. If you if you love ice cream and you tell yourself you can't eat it anymore, that's not good for a lot of things. So we are able to fit these foods that we consider bad into our diet when we know that they're not the best thing for us, and if we're eating most other foods that are healthier most of the time. So that's really been my goal when I work with clients, is letting them know, you don't need to avoid anything, but let's figure out how to make these foods part of your lifestyle and diet that works for everything that you need when it comes to mental health, physical health, where you want to be at and your goals. So again, I just said all this, but again, allow yourself to eat those foods that you love. A high calorie meal one time is not going to ruin all your hard work. And if you do feel like you overate, remind yourself of this and just move on. Do better at your next meal. It's not going to be the end of the world. Eliminating those foods that we love causes stress and anxiety, which is also not going to help us with weight loss. Set realistic expectations for yourself. If holidays are a hard time for you, maybe just work on maintaining your weight during that time. Don't set these, crazy weight loss goals during a certain time that is just not going to work for you. It's also important to know if you're eating too little or if you're not eating enough. So it's just kind of a little guide. So usually if you're not eating enough when you're trying to lose weight, you get hungry pretty quickly after that meal. So you say you eat breakfast and you're already hungry 1 to 2 hours after. Really try to look at this meal and figure out what's missing at that point. Are you getting your protein in? Did you have enough of that? Where are your fats? Where are your vegetables? Things like that. And then if you are eating too little, you feel really, really full after a meal. You're not hungry for like 4 to 5 hours. That's probably an indicator that you ate a little bit too much. So again, going back and looking at that meal and seeing maybe where you went overboard on one of those nutrients to try to balance it out a little bit better next time. And then if you are eating too little, say you're getting really hungry right after that meal, increase the best thing to increase at the next meal is going to be the lean protein. So maybe doing a little bit more chicken or fish, and then also some veggies. So if you maybe only did like one fist of veggies, maybe do 2 fists of veggies next time and see if that helps as well. All right, so the next one is high levels of physical activity. Okay, the research showed from this weight loss registry that it was a really important part of not only weight loss, but also preventing that weight regain. So these people that did this study, they really found exercise that worked in their life and that they actually enjoyed, so they would continue doing it. So we usually recommend anywhere between 30 and 90 minutes. They showed really helped, but I would just suggest starting somewhere. Again, exercise can really boost your mood. So for mental health, it's really great. It increases your brain's feel-good hormones, and it can also help with sleep. I don't know if anyone's ever, started a new exercise routine or incorporate a little bit more physical activity, but man, it really, really can help with sleep. So another great benefit as well. And physical activity is not just designated exercise. So there's other sources. It can be a lot of part of your job, like say you're in construction or housekeeping, that definitely counts as physical activity. Walking the dog, going for a swim, gardening and cleaning, also really great physical activities. So kind of look at your lifestyle and what your schedule looks like and kind of pinpoint where you're having those physical activities and see if you can increase them in some way. Again, just get started somewhere. Any exercise activity is going to help with weight loss, with boosting our mood. So if that's just walking for 10 minutes a day, that's great. Start somewhere and start working up from there. Another great tip is parking far away at the grocery store or any store and getting some extra steps in. Using your bike or walking instead of driving to work or school. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Easy one to do. Home workout videos, so many great resources online. You can literally type in 10-minute workout and a million things will come up. So lots of stuff on the internet. And then they also have a great simple workouts you can do anywhere as well. You can do body weight stuff like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, really anything. There's so many great information on the internet. So do a couple of searches for that if that's something you're interested in. All right, so eating a low calorie diet. So when I say this, I don't mean eat 1,000 calories or less a day. Um, I really recommend seeing where you're at before changing anything. If you're able to, keep a food log of everything you're eating, and able to input this in some sort of MyFitnessPal is a great one. It's free, and you can kind of see where your calorie range is, and then subtracting from that, instead of kind of guessing on where you should be calorie wise. Because when you do this, you kind of get what's called your maintenance calories, especially if your weight's been stable for a while. Like, so this is where you're eating right now to keep you at the weight that you're at right now. So once you figure that out, you can drop your calorie range by about 500 calories a day, which should provide about a 1 pound drop a week. Okay. Sometimes this is a little intense for somebody. I do have clients that do this, and it's like, this is a little too much for me at first. So you can also drop it by like 250 calories a day at first too, and kind of work your way down maybe to that 500 calories in like a week or two. So again, slowly decreasing your intake over time and keep being consistent with it. It's really going to weight loss, that we're looking for. And a lot of people do hit plateaus, and that's okay. I recommend just giving it some time. And if you're still at this in 4 weeks, then drop your calories a little bit again. But again, we recommend going slower at this point, about 250 calories a day. And again, if you do want to do this, I would recommend MyFitnessPal. It's a free tracking app. It's really easy. You can scan stuff, input stuff, put recipes in there. If that is something you want to consider doing, great resource there. All right, number 4 is eating breakfast regularly. So research has shown, and it continues to show, that breakfast eaters are better at weight loss and maintaining weight. Eating breakfast can suppress hunger later, better for blood sugar control, increases fiber, and encourages improved health consciousness. When you do eat breakfast, it doesn't have to be, first thing in the morning when you wake up. A lot of people aren't really hungry at that time. So if you do have to go to work or school, pack something with you and maybe eat when you start feeling hungry, which may not be till 9 or 10 o'clock. So breakfast is, definitely a meal where some people eat a good amount of sugar. So we really just want to be careful when it comes to breakfast, and just trying to pick some, higher protein options. A lot of the sugary stuff comes from cereal, granolas, bagels, pastries, those Starbucks coffees we like that all the sugar in it. So really trying to not do these as often. So most of the time we want to be picking those higher protein breakfasts. So are great. Like I said, egg whites, you can mix them together. That plain Greek yogurt, you can make a really nice like fruit, nut, and yogurt bowl in the morning. Um, Oatmeal with fruit, another good one. Or you can also do a low sugar fruit smoothie with protein. So I put low sugar fruit smoothie because, a lot of times, especially if you go to like a store or a restaurant that serves smoothies, they usually put a lot of fruit in it. And sometimes they even use fruit juice for the liquid. So that can add up really quickly in sugar. Even though it is natural sugar, it's still sugar. So we just want to be really careful when we order like smoothies and stuff from, stores and restaurants and stuff. But making them at home, really easy. Just get a good protein powder. Usually any kind of whey-based powder is good, or a plant-based one as well. I like a good just plain vanilla. And then you can literally add like, I usually recommend a half cup to 1 cup of fruit in there, using like either like cow's milk or even an almond milk. An unsweetened almond milk is really low in calories too. And then I also like to throw some fats in for me too. Again, good part of a balanced meal. So I throw either some nuts in there. Usually the blender mixes it up really well. Little scoop of peanut butter if I want to do like a banana peanut butter one in the morning. Or yeah, any other kind of nut too, cashews, almonds, anything you want. So really could get some good smoothie recipes. A lot of good things to do with smoothies. Totally recommend trying those out if you haven't. All right, and the 5th one is just monitoring your weight. So it showed that it helped with accountability. And daily weights were actually better predictors of weight than weekly weights, because our weight really can fluctuate. Usually fluctuates 3 to 5 pounds. So a lot of things can affect that. Our salt intake, like say you go out to eat the night before and you have a really salty meal, that can really affect weight because you're going to retain water. So you're going to put on some water weight at that point. Our hormones, especially for women, can really fluctuate our weight. Exercise. If you do a really hardcore exercise the night before, you can actually put on like 3 to 5 pounds the next day. It's pretty wild. And also medications, they can really affect our weight as well. So a lot of these are out of our control. So just remember, you're not going to gain 5 pounds of fat overnight. So just remember these other things that can be going on to increase that weight. So it's really daily weight, the same time every day, and then kind of get an average for that week. That can really show you a better indicator of where your weight's at. This can be really overwhelming sometimes for people. So just take breaks if you need to, or if it's just something that you don't like to do and you don't like to use the scale, then don't worry about it. Focus on nutrition and physical activity. Focus on other things that you are more comfortable with focusing on. So just an overview, successful weight loss and maintenance requires sustained and lifelong commitment to healthful food selection, regular physical activity, and being mindful of your stress. Make small changes over time. Don't feel like you need to jump in and do everything at once. Increased stress will only make weight loss harder. Consistency is really key here. Really, the best place to start is going to be looking at your diet. Figure out what you're doing. Where can you make improvements? And make small improvements over time. Start moving. Whatever you can do to start moving. Our smartphones are really great. They tell us how many steps we do now in a day. If you do keep your phone on you, so that's a great tool. It's that health app if you have an iPhone. So here's an example. Like say you're averaging about 5,000 steps a day. Maybe make it a goal to hit 7,000 steps a day. I love setting goals. You guys have heard me say this multiple times. It's a really cool tool. Setting weekly goals for yourself that are achievable, measurable, really important, and kind of revisiting them every week can really be helpful. So I want to talk a little bit about the weight loss industry. As if you've watched my other ones, you know that I'm really big on just consistency and hard work when it comes to, nutrition and changing your lifestyle. It's definitely not easy, but it's so worth it. If you can figure out a great eating pattern and an exercise routine that works well for you. There is a lot of money in the weight loss industry. So I always tell clients, just be careful. And we're going to discuss a little bit more. So when it comes to weight loss supplements, I'm sure all of you have seen them before advertised. They're in the grocery stores, they're in CVS. I mean, you can't miss them. They're everywhere. About 15% of adults in the US have used weight loss supplements at some point in their life. I'm surprised how low that number is, honestly. I thought it would be a little bit higher. More women than men. So about 21% of them are women that use these weight loss supplements. And we spend about $2.1 billion a year on this industry. So we continue to fuel this industry of weight loss supplements. They come in capsules, powders, liquids, bars, you name it. They're in everything. They claim to reduce nutrient absorption. They claim to lower your appetite. They're going to take away all your body fat. They're going to increase your metabolism. You've seen it all. So the consensus from the US Government Accountability Office is little is known about whether weight loss supplements are effective, and some have been associated with the potential for physical harm. So it really makes it even more important to know what we're putting in our body, if it is safe, and is there any research to back up its use? Does it actually work? So unlike drugs, these supplements and weight loss supplements do not require pre-market approval or review from the FDA like the medications do. So the supplement manufacturer, so the one who makes these weight loss supplements, are the ones who are responsible for making sure the supplement is safe and that their label is true. And supplements are not allowed to contain any pharmacological ingredients, and the companies are not allowed to claim that they can diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So I don't know if you've ever looked at one, but they do have this little thing on there where you'll see that. So I want to discuss a few that you've probably seen before in the stores. So the first one is Garcinia cambogia. Cambogia. So it's actually a tree that grows throughout Asia and Africa. The pulp or the rind of the fruit has high amounts of something called HCA, that claims to increase fat loss, decrease food intake, and reduce weight. So they found some success in studies with rats, but when they finally tried it on humans, the results were conflicting, and any weight loss was very, very little, if any. What caffeine is another one that's found in a lot of teas, coffees, pre-workouts. It has been shown to increase energy expenditure, aka it can burn calories. But its effect on weight loss is mostly unknown because the results from research are mixed and hard to control. And we recommend no more than about 400 to 500 milligrams a day of caffeine. So in your typical cup of coffee, there's about 150, just for a reference. And a lot of times, caffeine can interrupt sleep, which is going to have a direct effect on hindering your weight loss, and can cause shakiness if you do more than that as well. And if you do more than 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day, it can actually cause toxicity and unwanted side effects. So we really want to be careful when it comes to caffeine, especially if it's in some of these drugs that you are taking, these supplements. Another one we've seen is that green coffee bean extract. These are the seeds of the coffee plant before they're roasted. It has shown some promise for fat loss in mice and humans, but research is very, very limited. The largest study, which showed weight loss, was highly criticized for its poor design, and 2 of the 3 authors retracted the journal publication. So it was a pretty poor study that they've been used to promote this supplement. And from a safety standpoint, it is relatively safe, but again, it's probably not worth your money. Another one we've seen before is a raspberry ketone. It's the primary aroma compound found in raspberries. The safety of high levels have not been studied or evaluated in humans. There's only been one randomized control trial done with 75 people, with 25 people dropping out. And the supplement was used in a study, had several other ingredients. So we really don't know if it was the raspberry ketone or something else that was in there. So who knows? And it was very poorly controlled. And the group with the supplement lost 3 more pounds. But both groups are put on a diet. So you got to look at when it comes to the studies that promote these things, there's a lot of in between, a lot of things that you got to really look at when it comes to seeing if this is actually good research or not. So I don't know if you've got it by now, but pretty much, I don't really recommend weight loss supplements. Pretty much the bottom line, they're not approved by the FDA. They're usually quite expensive. It's amazing. I don't know if you've ever looked at some of these. It's pretty crazy, the prices on them. And they're not backed by research. I don't think you really find any dietitian, and really most healthcare providers are not recommending buying into these weight loss supplements. And the supplement manufacturers are the ones that are in charge of putting out a good product. So it's up to them if they're going to actually put a really good product out there, and really they only want your money. So just keep that in mind. So I recommend saving your money and investing in healthier eating and exercise, better sleep, and stress reducing activities. Taking weight loss supplements or other supplements without building a strong foundation is not recommended. So that's it on my end. Anybody have any questions?
Okay. That slipped my mind. Now, when you talk about corn, is it true that corn doesn't actually have any nutritional value?
No, corn does have nutritional value. It is high in fiber. Um, some of it does not get digested. No, you don't see that, but you are getting some benefit from it.
I started thinking maybe it's just a filler. People use it to fill up, but I heard it didn't have any nutritional value. And I was like, well, gee, corn didn't have nutritional value. And somebody told me that. And because I like corn, I like sweet corn. I haven't really been eating that, thinking, well, if there's no vitamins. And I can just Google this stuff, but I'm so used to not Googling it that I'm just like not used to having Google. So I forget I have Google it.
Yeah, Google is very useful. You know, I use it to look up food too. I mean, I don't know all the vitamins and minerals in food, so I definitely do that a lot as well. But yeah, corn I know is a good source of fiber. It's a starchy carbohydrate. It's a good thing to definitely eat in your diet. Nothing wrong with corn.
had this other question, and yeah. Oh well.
Maybe maybe you can answer Kieran's question, and then maybe she'll remember.
You were mute. I didn't hear you. Were you muted?
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Karen asked, so are the carbs and veggies good carbs when using an app to track?
Are carbs and veggies good carbs? Sorry.
Yes, she wrote. It's okay. Karen, if you want to unmute yourself, that way you could talk a little bit more about what your question is referring to.
Okay. So when I use MyFitnessPal.
Okay.
And of course it does the protein, the carbs, the fat.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put in veggies, it goes under carbs. But I can kind of just disregard that carb count a little bit compared to like bread carbs.
Yeah, so vegetables are considered a carbohydrate. They're going to fall they're very, very low in calories, but most of those calories are carbohydrates. So it is a source of carbohydrates. So it just depends. Are you having like a carbohydrate goal that you want to meet, or what are you?
Well, I'm personally getting ready to have weight loss surgery.
Okay.
Actually. So I think I have to keep carbs very minimal.
Okay.
Like low.
Yes.
Low.
Okay. So yeah, count the vegetables will be counted towards your carbs. So that is
Okay.
something you want to count. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Elizabeth, you're muted again. I don't know. There you are.
Yeah, we were just chatting it up in here. I said, I'm trying to think of a question. You know, I always like to have something. I always try to think of something outside the box, but you've covered so much so well. So it's like I'm stumped. I would think too, like towards the end of the evening, you know, decreasing sugar or caffeine, trying to go to sleep a little bit easier, and that would help with your mental health too. I just think that so many people hit a dessert at the end of a meal, and that's kind of like their little cheat moment. And then it's like, but yet you want to go to sleep in an hour, hour and a half, you know, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm hyped up on sugar. So I think eating earlier in the night, that's kind of a thing that I would need to do. And I don't eat very many desserts, but I know my husband does. He likes ice cream. So if I had anything to tell him, which he's a stick, I mean, he's just skinny as a stick. But, you know, so you look at him and you're thinking, man, it's so lucky you can eat all that and it doesn't bother you. But it's just the difference, like you said, with hormones and how men and women differ with their body, you know, shapes, and how we all are affected differently. Like one thing is not going to work for the next person, but it's amazing how all, like just everything that you talked about, if we get that kind of at our core and we use that as our base for everything, we can all make it our own and it can work for us. So I think my biggest thing is increasing my physical activity. So I keep saying that every time we do a class, I need to increase my physical. I think I should start a physical activity class.
There you go.
That'll get me more, you know what I mean? Like that'll be making me more motivated to do it more if I have some, you know,
oh yeah, having
people to hoorah me around.
Accountability buddies is huge. It's just, you know, if you have someone that's also doing something with you, it can be super helpful to keep each other accountable. With the dessert thing too, sometimes I'll eat dessert after lunch. I don't know if anyone's ever tried that, but having your dessert earlier in the day too can be helpful as well. No, you're muted again, Elizabeth. There you go.
Oh, you know, I was thin, and then I was older. I said, "Oh, a few extra pounds won't bug me, but it's carrying the weight that bugs me." So even though it doesn't,
right? It's
much,
like
it's just annoying.
Exactly. I think after having children, for me is you know, the little baby pooch that you just could never get rid of. Like, that's my thing. And it's like, which, you know, I'm proud I had babies. You know what I mean? You look at that and you're like, I had a baby, that's fine. But I just know that my body completely changed after that. And even I was young whenever I had them, but you know, now me in my 40s, it's definitely, you see your body kind of taking a little change and like what's going on with your metabolism and stuff. So I think I love all your tips. I wrote down the Mexican bowl and the steak dinner. I love those. I'm going to get the MyFitnessPal on my phone. So I'm excited about that. And I'm glad that one of our listeners here today already has it on her phone. So that's fantastic. Do you have a smartphone? I don't know. Do you know if it works on Samsung?
It works on Androids too.
Okay.
Okay. See,
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Karen says she has Android.
Children, so I don't have a kid to teach me my phone.
I know. Well, an Android, I'm not familiar with Androids, and my mom had one, and I literally was like, I don't know how to help you. But an iPhone, I'm right on it. But Karen says she has it on her Android, so she knows that it works on it.
It can be really eye-opening to see where you're at calorie-wise. It really can. To see, especially like if you are doing something you didn't realize that it had so many calories, or maybe it didn't have, you know, it can be very eye-opening. So I totally recommend doing it to just see where you're at.
Karen says she uses her Fitbit to challenge her friends with steps. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I should get I should get one for my daughter. She lives in Tennessee, and then we should challenge each other with Fitbit. That could be my accountability buddy from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Let me write that down, Fitbit.
Yeah, the Apple Watches do that too. It's really fun. Like when your friend finishes a workout, they'll like let you know, and you can like congratulate them or like send them a cute little emoji or something. It's pretty cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
Karen says her 10-year-old loves his. He kills me daily with his steps. I bet he does. I bet he's busy.
Making it a whole family thing. That's really cool. I love that.
That's fun.
Really
I should get my husband one too. He's a postal carrier, and that's the reason why he's so skinny, because he works, 12, 13 hours a day out here in the heat, walking around. So I can't even imagine how many steps he gets per day. So that's the reason why I don't ever say anything to him about that ice cream bowl. I'm like, honey, you just eat that up.
He probably needs all the calories he can get. Yeah.
That's his problems. He can't keep enough calories on him. That's the reason why he's a stick. So do we have any other questions? See if Miss Karen has any more questions. When is your surgery, Karen? Should we expect you for another class, or is your surgery coming up? June 15th. Okay, so it's coming up. Okay. When do we want to do our next class, Miss Hannah?
I'll be out all of June. So
okay.
I'm actually getting married.
No class in June. Congratulations.
Yay.
What day in June?
June 12th.
June 12th. I'm gonna send you a little happy.
Oh, thanks.
That is so awesome. So we'll look at July, and you can just let me know what day in July, and then I'll send out a little email to everybody. That way they can join us. Okay. Well, fantastic.
Does anyone have any recommendations or things they want to learn about, or for future classes?
Well, I think I had a person ask me about like the keto diet and those kind of like ideas about how to make those work for you, as good ideas for those. Also like the Mediterranean diet. I've had some people ask me about that. So I think if you want to kind of maybe do something, maybe you could do both of those. I don't know how much information goes into both. So I don't know if you could incorporate them all into one class or whatever you think.
Okay, maybe we'll do certain diets. We can do that.
I was looking at some of the recipes.
Yeah. So Candace, she said she's got a keto book, so she's interested in it too. So yeah, if that sounds cool.
Yeah, we can.
So maybe in July we'll do a. Okay, perfect. That sounds good to me. Well, I am super glad that I got to join in today, because I'm going to go make me Mexican bowl dinner for tonight for dinner.
Oh, that's it.
Yay.
So easy too. Such a good one.
Yeah.
You can do ground turkey.
And I haven't had lunch yet, so
ground
that's
beef, chicken,
yes.
lots of good stuff.
I use all ground turkey. I don't use any beef for anything. And I've been that way for years. Beef tends to give me a little upset tummy. You know, I think it's just because I don't eat it that much. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. So I call it my turkey tacos whenever I make it.
There you go.
My turkey tacos.
I just can't seem to like the taste of ground turkey.
Yeah, I just season it just like you would be ground beef with just taco seasoning and go for it. So I think it's, I think it is definitely a taste acquired, but because I've done it for so many years, it just doesn't, it tastes normal.
You can do like half ground beef, half ground turkey too. You can do.
That's a good idea. Half ground beef, half turkey.
Yeah.
She says, I made ground turkey and rice stuffed peppers. Ooh, that's fun. So you see, you could do that. You could make some, she said it's not real rice.
Cauliflower.
No, I've never heard of white rice. Is that cauliflower rice? Veggie rice.
Veggie rice. Okay.
I've never heard of that.
It's like a mixture. I think maybe it's in the frozen food section, right, Karen?
Okay. Health shelf in Publix. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they have a lot of alternative lower carbohydrate rices, pastas, a lot of really cool stuff now. They really tried to make it easier for the consumer, which is really cool to do some lower carb stuff.
And I completely agree, which I've made it a habit now when I learned from you to do normal eggs and then do half egg whites. So do half egg, normal eggs. And then I got the omega-3 eggs. And then the other half of my, because I'll make scrambled eggs and I'll just put them in a container and I'll eat on them for like 2 days, like for breakfast. That way I've already pre-made them.
Yep.
But now I don't even taste the difference.
Mm-mm.
But I've been doing that for the past couple of months. So I think it is definitely something when you change like that I'm making those little changes and I like it. So, paleo diet. That's a good idea. Maybe the paleo / keto / Mediterranean.
Oh yeah, we'll cover all like the bigger diets now and some information about them.
Okay.
Because
I think that would be a fun.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know much about those, so I would definitely be learning a lot from you on those.
Okay.
Well, very cool. Well, you just let me know about that July date, and then good luck with definitely getting married.
Thank you.
And then for our Miss Karen, good luck with your surgery.
Yes, good luck.
For sure. We you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. And then Karen, feel free to join us back in July. I'll send you an email with our date. And absolutely wonderful. Well, Miss Hannah, it's been a joy. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
And I think if we're all good on questions, you good? Okay. I think we're all good here in Key West. So we shall see you in July.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good rest of your weekend.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.